4 p.m. Swedish time. Welcome to Midnight Operations, episode 23. We have a fun show for you today. Some interviews, some showcases, but also we have a new guest that we haven't had before in Mr. Johan.
Hello.
Johan, do you want to share some about what you do at Teenage?
Sure thing. I'm a software developer and I have been working on products like OP1, EP or KO2 and a lot of other stuff.
Yep. Wonderful. Today we have this Mr. Update guy in the corner here. I think you're in this
yes.
This comic made by Vivi, hand drawn. I'm looking at refreshing our Instagram page, but it hasn't surfaced yet. So let's look at the manga version first.
Mm-hmm.
Today is EP update day. It's how would you describe this update?
It's a mixed bag of random stuff, I would say. The original reason of this update was that we wanted, of course, the USB audio to come out. So that's the big reason for having this update.
So main update feature is USB audio.
Yes.
Yes. So what does that mean?
It's very straightforward. It means you can connect your KO2 to either a phone or a PC or whatever that supports USB audio, and you can record and play back, and just like you would with an audio interface, I guess.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, then you can access the input on the KO2, and it will actually act as an audio interface, basically. So you can record stuff straight from the EPs.
I think it's really useful because nowadays a lot of people just listen to music on their phones, and maybe they hear something they want to sample, and then it's so easy to just plug it in with the USB cable.
Right. So now we have a option to select the USB as the source.
Exactly.
And is it still stereo mono, or is it only
stereo mono, just like a regular audio cable?
Cool. Awesome. So what else does Mr. Update bring us? Let's see. There's a very, very nice anime version of this. Look at these guys. They're so cool. But it's not uploaded yet. Let's see if we can showcase it for you. But let's go to the highlights here. So we talked about USB audio. We have reverse playback. We have improved time stretching, new keys mode, scales and arpeggio, equal length,
auto chop.
So let's go to the KO2. Here we go. USB audio. How about it, guys? So Midnight Operations episode 23, dropping some EP heat with developer Johan in the hot room here. Let's see. So this is USB audio, and you see some use cases. Reverse. Tell us about this, Johan.
Yeah, reverse. It is what it sounds like. You can take a sample and play it backwards.
Yeah.
And this is really basic feature, I guess, but it's also maybe the most requested feature. I'm surprised how many people requested this.
Right. And so it sounds like we've been listening to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this, I would say, this all the features that came in with this update, it's like a service pack update. Of course, it's a feature request from the users, but also it's random, all kinds of good ideas that we had during the development that we didn't really have time to implement until now.
Yeah. And I bet we still have more in the back pockets.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got reverse, choose your sample rate, some nice graphics.
Yeah, this is maybe the feature I thought was most fun doing actually, because we have all kinds of audio signal processing experts in the company, and I'm not one of them. but for this time,
but you're the humble one then.
Anyway, I got to try out doing the filter design for this feature, which means what it means is basically it takes the signal and then it downsamples it to either 32 or 26 kilohertz. And it's obviously nice because by doing this we save a lot of space on the device, since we only have 64 or 128 megabytes.
Yep.
It actually helps a lot. But also what even more nice about it is that it's also brings its what do you say, retro lo-fi flavor to the sample.
Yeah, sure. It adds character to the sound.
So if you choose low, which is 26 kilohertz, then you get this really nice hip-hop vibe to it. I'm really happy about this feature, and I hope it will be really useful for people.
Yeah, wonderful. I do sometimes get the question about the standard rate here. And do you have some insight of why this very specific number?
It's just technical reasons. It was easy to make that in the electronics.
Yep. There we
so
go.
It's just it was that's the way we made it first, and then we didn't have any good reason to change it, so we just kept it.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so longer mono samples.
Yeah, that's also really basic, but now you can sample 40 seconds instead of 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Equal length auto chop.
This is also something that some people requested. And what it means is that you can choose to chop your samples so that each slice is equally long.
Right.
Which is also really basic feature and can be really nice for some kind of beats.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you know exactly the BPM and have very if you need this, then it's very handy, of course.
Yeah, it's also nice because sometimes it turns out interesting in ways you didn't really expect it to. So
excellent. I'm not keeping up with chat here, but hopefully we have some people monitoring and answering you guys. I saw the aviators. Yeah, I'm collecting these. I have 2 currently, so it's not that many. But it's just a what's it called? I forgot the brand. The aviators, basically. So arpeggio plus keys modes improvements.
Yeah, also pretty basic feature. What it means is that if you have note repeat on a monophonic sound and you press timing and multiple keys, then it will play back those keys with an arpeggio.
Right.
So it's also a very simple idea that we had for a really long time, and now we got some time to actually do it.
Yeah. Excellent. And everything else.
Lots of stuff there.
Any highlights, Johan?
Not sure. It's about mostly bug fixes, I guess. The time stretching is really improved.
Yeah,
I would say, but this is actually ported from the rhythm machine.
Right.
So yeah, should be a bit cleaner now.
Yeah, cool.
Which helps.
And yeah, so you said this was like a a service pack update. So a lot of stability fixes, sequencer and performance. We'll be curious to see what you'll make of this update, chat. It's you have some wonderful content, so we're looking forward to that.
The keys mode is actually a pretty big improvement for those who like to use the scale and keys features.
Right.
It used to be kind of hidden in the system settings, how to change the scale to something else.
Right.
And now it's a lot easier because you can just hold the keys button and turn the knobs to select the keys and scale. So it's a lot more accessible now, and that means also it's much more usable and you're easier to make use of it.
Yeah, of course.
Easier to find
Exactly.
and use.
Yes, sometimes it can be hard to know exactly which system setting, and you can scroll your way through with plus and minus and so forth. But this is a nice addition.
Yes.
And also, I see we added some new scales. Are you trained at playing keys?
Not at all.
Not at all?
A little, but I'm not good at it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I usually say I'm good at playing Tetris,
Yes.
so that explains a lot. Okay, but cool.
Yeah, but the new scales is a good mix. It's one blues scale, a jazz scale, you could say, and also a heavy metal scale, kind of like Yngwie Malmsteen scale. Yeah,
Nice one. We have some colleagues who in the office who could like that maybe, including myself. Hey Evelina, good to see you guys. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. This is Midnight Operations, episode 23. We're live from the Teenage Engineering headquarters. This is Johan, the main developer, or one of our main developers. We're talking about the EP update that was just out. MIDI and sync. We added some control changes, some fixes.
Yeah,
Is there anything here?
It's pretty minor stuff here, but yeah.
And how long have we been working on this? You mentioned this is stuff. Some of this is from when we first started working with the EPs, and kind of kept it for not the 1.0 release, and also not the 2.0 release. So these fixes have been in the works for some time.
You mean this particular release?
Yeah, precis.
Actually, it was a while ago since I stopped working on this release, so
Yeah, okay.
I don't quite remember, but I guess it was a few months at least.
Okay, cool. There we go. So update your device. Yeah, that was the old one. Awesome. And we return to index. Let's see if we have this. We refresh this. We can showcase the video. Maybe they're working on it still. Oops. There we go. So we get this for rhythm as well, and for the medieval we get USB audio. So read the comic and get back to us. Johan, any other things you want to share? What are you working on currently?
It's a secret project.
Secret project, okay.
Can't say anything.
Can't say.
It.
Is there anything you can share that's in the? Not really, right?
About what?
Yeah, well, about what you had for breakfast. That's as far as you can disclose, I guess.
Breakfast.
Nay, just kidding. Yeah, we rest assured, chat. We have updates coming. We have tons of new stuff in the pipeline, and Johan, you're quite involved in quite a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I hope to come back to this KO2 in the future again in some way. So.
Are you still making your own music also?
Nah, it's been a very long time ago, unfortunately.
Well,
but maybe I will find the inspiration again.
There
Who
we
knows?
go. There we go. Hope so. Yeah, I know we have a lot of XY update requests.
Yeah.
But that's not something you're working on, right?
No, not right now. That's Jonas' baby, so to speak.
Exactly.
I helped out with parts of the XY, but it's really his brainchild.
Yeah,
I would say. So.
And Jonas is regular here, and we hope to have you back as well.
Oh, would be great.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Chad, give some love for Johan, and thank you so much for the great work.
Thank you.
Awesome. Du kan, alltså vi snackar lite nu, men jag tänkte jag ska visa lite video och så vidare.
Ja, just det.
Så tack snälla.
Tack så mycket.
Okej. Ha det fint.
Ja, håller stängt.
Ja, det kan du göra. Very good. So we have some updates that we showed, and how does this sound then? Well, I had an interview with a gentleman let's see if we can do this. And here we go. I'll let him take over. Oops.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Illa J, and I'm here with Tobias, and you're checking out Teenage Engineering Midnight Operations. Let's get it.
Hey, DiBiase, thank you for the connection. Hey, how about that? Yeah, DiBiase, thank you so much for the connection last mentioned. I had the opportunity and good fortune to meet with Illa J. We have an interview. I haven't had time to edit it yet, so it's coming up. But he's sharing some of his workflow, and you heard an example here. So much appreciated. Who I did have time to meet, though, or rather, who I did have time to, let's see, here we go, edit. We do a lot of stuff, of course, we do the hardware, but you guys are getting mad with the software. So the third-party developers. We really want to highlight some of that. I was fortunate enough to be able to connect with Joe from EP Patch Studio. So check this out.
Hi, Joe Holland here from Squarewave Studio. So I develop grown-up software for teenage engineering devices. So currently have OP Patch Studio and EP Patch Studio and PO Patch Studio in development as well.
Catchy tagline there.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think so.
When did you first start developing for the teenage engineering stuff?
So last year, I started building out OP Patch Studio, which is free online at the moment, to help manage the patches and the presets for the OPXY. And that started building out. And I think at the moment, there's about 3,000 to 3,500 users a month using that software. So I was like, there's real demand for this. And I had it kind of like a donation thing, and people were adding features, and it's all open source. But I was really proud of this, but wanted to take it further. So this was last year I started this. And then the EP40 was released last year, and I picked up one and started to figure out the multi-samples and how these things worked. And then I wanted to build a version of this, but for the EP device and the multi-samples on that. So it really started around the multi-samples then on the EP device. And then I decided I'd do a desktop version that would also be a mobile version. So that's where the EP Patch Studio came. But yeah, it all really started last year. And then I just earlier this year spun it into Squarewave Studio and started to put it all together. So I released EP Patch Studio in February. It's free. You know, the multi-sample creation is free. And then there's, you know, pro features for all the workflow management and the backups and all these other things too. So basically, once you connect the device here, it loads up your device information. You can see, depending on the device, how much space you have. It also does a check. I emailed T support about this. It checks, is your firmware up to date? And if it's not, it redirects you to the T updater to update your firmware. Also tells you up here from any page how many samples you have on your device. And we have the sample editor, but I'll come back to that there. If I go to File Manager and I just click on, let's say I click on something here. Actually, this is quite a big sample. I don't want to go into that. If I just click on a kick, I click Edit, it brings me straight into the sample editor mode here. And we can test this here. We can hit, and then down here, there's this advanced audio editor. So we can normalize things, we can reverse, we can add fade, we can add different effects in here as well, compression, we can trim silence. Then when we're outputting these here too, we can, if we want to lower the sample rate, or if we want to make it, this is something I think is really cool too. The device seems to only support 16 and 24-bit files, but some people wanted that really crispy 8-bit or 10-bit sound. So what the app does is it actually encodes it down to the 8-bit or 10-bit and then puts it back into the 16-bit container. So the file sounds like an 8-bit file, but it's in the larger container, and then it plays like that. And then there's this thing here, if you want to up the speed, so you can fit a 40-second sample in and then pitch it down on the device as well. And then you can change your amplitude, your attack, all these other things. And then you can upload it straight back to your device. So, you know, if you want to go back to where it was, you could just click here and it will overwrite your sample. So you can do lots of things like that. You can see all my testing here, and you can also drag samples around and change them. And it also shows you here what samples are actually in each project. And you can also protect used samples, so you can't delete samples, which is really handy, you know. So if you're changing projects around or editing samples or deleting things, you know that you're not going to delete stuff that's important to a project. And if you do delete something, there's also a recycle bin. So you can also go into your recycle bin and restore samples back onto the device. It's really kind of really helpful. Even here you can sample, you know, preview the samples on device, on computer, and then you can obviously edit them and things like that as well. Obviously, the other thing you can do as well, which I think is really, really cool, is the project viewer. And this actually came from an idea someone had on the Reddit community. So you can go in here and you can preview all your samples in your project. You can see all your active scenes, the pattern details. Then you can actually view it all in the timeline. So I think the inspiration for this came from the TE manual. In the EP40 or the 133, there was a screen where it showed the pattern.
Right.
And users were kind of like, oh, imagine if this was an app. And then I thought, hey, look, I can build that. So you can see the loops, you can see all the different samples. You can see here where there's a bar and then it's repeated. So these are the kind of ghost notes in the next bar. You can also click into each of these and you can see the technical details out of each one of these. And then you can actually then play this here as well, each scene. You can also see the automation lanes, which I don't have any in this. And then you can also see the piano roll. Now, most of these samples are actually just normal samples, so they'll all show up C4. But if you have a kind of a pitch sample and different things, you'll actually see all the piano roll stuff. And then the other cool thing about this is you can export the MIDI for each one of these tracks. You can export the wave, or you can export all of the stems as well. So this was some stuff that people were asking for too, to help translate the EP projects. And this is one thing I really wanted to do too, was take these, maybe each of the sum groups or each of the pad tracks, and then split them up and then be able to put them into, into your DAW or whatever. And you can split them by scene as well. So it will give you each section for each pad. And then you can just bring that into your DAW to finish your project. So it definitely has helped my workflow. And I'm also building DAW export in here as well. So Ableton is supported at the moment, but the plan is to add Reaper and Bitwig and some of the other DAWs as well. But yeah, as I said, it's all go. And the other thing actually I just wanted to show here is Insights. I added this only last week. And this is kind of my test device, so I don't really have any of my projects on this, but you can actually see what your most used samples are. If there are unused factory sounds on your device, you should go back and maybe look at them, what your defining sounds are, and then it will tell you about the way you mix. So I haven't used enough of these for it to figure it out. It'll tell you what days you do most of your work, and then it will give you a kind of, not like a score, but your personality, what way do you make music, and it shows you all these things as well. So I think it's pretty cool because it builds on all of the information that people do on their devices and then lets them figure out what their projects are and what type of music that they make in here as well, and shows them year over year and things like that too. So it's really cool stuff, and everything's done within the app. And the Wrapped here was inspired by the Spotify Wrapped, because when you get down to the end of it, you can share it to social media too.
Yeah.
Tag T, tag whoever, and share that out and say, hey, look, look what I've done on my EP devices. But yeah, it's really cool because even here, as I said, with the project library, you've been able to export your projects, restore them to device, view your projects, even adding tags. So, if you've got ambient stuff or whatever, you can add all your tags here in your projects, and then you can search for them. So you can have hundreds of projects in your project library, and then you can go in and pull them from device or export them back to your device. And this is one of the key features I really wanted to do, because that 9 project limit I found very limiting. And as I said, limitations are good for creativity sometime, but I kind of felt it limited me a bit because I didn't want to delete certain projects because I felt like I wasn't finished them. And this gives that users that flexibility, because you can just push things up and pull them down and things like that and not worry about it.
I have a question regarding what kind of inter-machine transfer compatibility is there? Do you get what I mean? So if I have a project on the rhythm and I want to make it into a OPXY project, how possible is that currently? And is that something you see yourself supporting?
That's a really good question. Some users actually asked for the ability to transfer samples from one to the other. So not specific projects, but if I go in here and I select, let's say, 10 samples here, I can save these as a sample pack, and then I can go into the other device and I can download that sample pack on the other device. But that's actually a really good idea about being able to transfer projects from one to the other, because for the most part, the project format is very similar, but maybe just the effects kind of differ. Or if you're transferring a project, let's say from the EP or the medieval to, let's say, the EP40, maybe you're using some of the inbuilt sounds in medieval and that won't work. Or if you're transferring, let's say, EP40 and you're using the supertone engine, you know, you're not going to have that. But all the other samples should be able to transfer. So that's actually a really good idea. I'll put that on the backlog to see can I get a project transfer between devices.
Sorry,
but
Joe.
for the most part, that should work pretty good, yeah.
Awesome. I'm curious about the PO transferring stuff because I've been rediscovering the pocket operators lately, and they're so powerful, and I love to work with them. But it's nice to be able to, take that content to other machines as well, and vice versa.
Yeah. And I think with the PO, what I found too was I'd end up having all these audio files of backups, and then I wouldn't be able to, you know, you play it and it's like the modem sound, so you don't know what it is. So I'd end up having all these scattered files, and I was like, oh, so as I said, that's the plan with that, is that you can load these in, and then when you're actually in the app, you can play what it is and you can see what the kit is and you can add or change it, and then you can play it back as well. So I just wanted to share this very quickly. Is the tape thing is obviously inspired by the tape stuff from the actual device. But the thing I really like about this is also physical. So you can actually move this up and down. You can change the play speed, dragging up and down here. So it actually does all the kind of transport stuff on this tape graphic.
Maybe you could have support for the TP7 controls.
Oh, that's really clever, actually, yeah.
Tape reel could scrub the tape.
Yeah, I must look into that to see how I could integrate with MIDI. Yeah, no, that's really clever. No, I'll definitely have a look at that. I need to get a TP7 first. It's on my list.
We can talk about that afterwards.
It's cool here too, though, because the you can actually change the tape type in the app, and then when you push it back to the device, it's got the other tape type. But you can obviously change, you know, and it puts the whole effect, so you can hear the kind of tape hiss there as well, and different things like that. And you can also record. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can record takes to this, or you can add new audio to this as well. So if I want to open a sample file or an audio file, I can put this into a tape track, and then I can also do all the other things I can do on device. So if I click here, I can split this, and I can move the audio. I can drag it between tracks. I can merge it with the other audio. You can do all these things. And then if I double click, didn't edit take audio, you can open it in the advanced sample editor where you get all these same features here too. So it's really cool because I use the OP1 field more as a tape recorder with the 4-track, plugging it into other synths or using some of the synth engines. And some of the editing on there is really good, but I'd love a little bit extra on that. So that's where I invented this, because then you can take the tape straight off the device, put them in here, change some of that stuff up, and then, you know, push them back down or export it to your DAW.
Yeah, definitely handy when preparing live shows or your tracks or any edits really on the machine. How much time of yours do you spend on these tools?
A lot of time, more than I actually thought I would when I started. But now that these tools are out there and people are using them, I might spend a couple of hours a day fixing support requests or adding new features. And I work obviously full time as well, and I have an IT consultancy on the side. And my wife and I also run an animal sanctuary. So we have 60 animals here on about 2 acres. So we are like, I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm doing some of this support work, then I'm, you know, feeding animals, and then I'm coming back in and, you know, going to work and things like that. So I do spend a lot of time on it, and but it's rewarding too, because you see people using the software, and then you know it saves people time too, and people get more creative as well because they can go in and use their devices and add different samples and tweak things. And it's fun. It is fun. And I like figuring out how things work.
It is fun. And it's free, right?
So the core features in all the apps will always be free.
Right,
so the multi-sample and the sample creation are free, yes.
And if you
it's-
want the extra sauce, you pay a little fee. For
Exactly. And that's essentially just to support development because, there's fees for hosting the stuff and the websites and all these other things. And there's different tiers as well. So I have some people as well that have paid for kind of super fan status. And once you're in at that tier, you can direct what features, there's people talking to me about adding certain features. And even a feature actually recently, I know Matthias there in TE was on to me, and I added that back into the sample editor because it helps him create the multi-samples with the regions. So like people are giving feedback and adding new features and stuff like that too, and I just trying to get all that in to help everyone out.
So definitely super useful tools. And if we had the time, we would love to build something like this. We focus on the hardware, so we're super thankful for people helping us with the software parts.
And the thing is, the hardware, everyone loves the hardware, and the software that obviously T release, it gives you that functionality, but the community, creating stuff and working around it is really cool too. And there's been a lot of people in the last 18 months and 2 years creating tools for all types of devices. And I think it's really cool seeing, people do what they want. And I actually saw yesterday, there was another guy on Instagram creating his own iOS app for the KO2 as well. And I love people creating stuff to help them figure out problems and then sharing that with everyone too. And I love that whole community spirit around all that.
As do we.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on Midnight Operations.
Yeah.
Where can people get in touch with you? Where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, so squarewave.studio is the main site, and that has links to the other apps. But if you
just load that up and have it on camera.
There you go. And then the app obviously links to OP Patch Studio and EP Patch Studio there. And then we'll have, PO Patch Studio in future and whatever else comes from this as well.
Wonderful. Looking forward to following the development and using these tools.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I think in future, I'd like to have, as I said, the whole suite. So, EP Patch Studio, OP Patch Studio, and then a PO Patch Studio. So people could go in and drop in samples to the app. You can have everything in your backup, your project library, and you can swap them in and out as you go. And I'd love to have mobile versions of all these too, because if you have your pocket operator and you have your iPhone or Android, and you can just swap and share and upload stuff really, really quickly, I think that gives people a lot more freedom and more creativity because you're not worried about, I need to delete this and save this project. You can just swap and change. And I think all these things too came from, me trying to optimize my workflow, especially with, let's say, the original OP1 and the single tape and trying to figure out ways to do that and backing it up and pushing it back down. And all this came from kind of that. And the same, with the PO Patch Studio, just figuring out how these things work gets me going, figuring it out and putting it together, and then building the apps around it is just the next thing. But as I said, it all kind of came from me just figuring out how to do it, and then I put it out there to the community, and then people came along with other great ideas, and then I just keep adding the ideas and it keeps going from there. So it's really fun, I originally started with OP Patch Studio, so I have the field, I've got the XY, and I've got all 3 EP devices here as well as the Sidekick. But the plan is that EP Patch Studio will support all of the, all the EP devices on that. And then OP Patch Studio will do the OP1, the field, OPZ, and OPXY. And there's already lots of stuff in that already. And you saw the other day the tape editor thing too, which I think is really cool,
Yeah, so definitely.
I'm finishing off the iOS release. So gonna go iOS first, then hopefully come to Android as well. But I'm also beta testing the Linux version. So it's going to be complete cross-platform, So if someone gets a license for one Pro, it will work. It will work everywhere.
How about that? Yeah, let Joe finish. Yeah, amazing news. I mean, thank you so much, Joe. I know you're in the chat, so thanks for stopping by. This is Midnight Operations, episode 23. We had some EP updates. We talked with Johan. We've had some guests on. This EP Patch Studio and also OP and PO Patch Studio, I'm really looking forward to it. I have a gig coming up this evening, actually, and I'm working on my XY and figuring out how to make take one project and make it into a live set. I think this could be handy in the future. Okay, so final thing before we say goodbye, let's check out. So Joe was mentioning mobile versions of his apps. And how about iOS compatibility with web MIDI? Well, some guy solved it. Let's hear it from Anthony.
Hi, I'm Ant. I work at 5 of 12. I'm the developer for MIDI Web, which is a web MIDI browser for iOS and macOS and Vision OS. And it allows you to explore web MIDI sites like the engineering update utility and the EP133 sample web apps, and lets you run them on the iPad, so you don't have to carry a laptop around. Makes it a bit more portable kind of setup. So it all started back in December when a friend of mine was like, I want to use my iPad with this web MIDI site, and there wasn't really a solution. And I went down a bit of a crazy, should I make a web browser for MIDI journey? And that's where we are now. And it's a few months. It's been out on the App Store a few months now. And yeah, got some really good feedback. It's working with lots of web MIDI sites. People are submitting new sites as well. So there's actually web MIDI sites that we're curating, and people can submit them. And if you've got any really fun web MIDI sites you want to add, just go over to midiwebhub.com. MIDI Web Hub is basically trying to raise the profile of web MIDI because it's just awesome. And hopefully with the ability to run it on the iPad, now it's more accessible to people as well. So that's kind of the MIDI web MIDI spiel. And we just recently done an update to enable the update utility for teenage engineering devices like the TP7 and the TX6 and the CM15. So now you can connect your iPad to your TE hardware and update it and do firmware updates and all kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, so you can see the update utility.
Yep.
And this is the TP7 that I've just connected. So this is just an example of the update utility. And it's saying like the firmware serials there, it's up to date.
And you mentioned you can have your phone even just
on the phone. Yeah, I've been working on a fix for the KO2 sample utility, so that you can copy the samples off the KO2 or AP133 sample utility. It takes quite a while on the phone, but it does work. I got a backup file of all the samples, so yeah, it's on my phone now in the Files app, so that I can carry that around with me.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I mean, it is a backup. Maybe it's not the first thing you go to, but if you're on the road or whatever happens just before the gig or whatever, you have a simple backup solution.
The main people that have been using it have been on the iPad, because there's so many great websites that are accessible on the iPad. So and some iPhone users as well. So
yeah, wonderful. I saw retro kits here in the hub.
Yes. Actually, retro kits were really good at the early stages of helping me debug stuff, because they've got this really good like update tool thing, and they sent me some gear to sort of test out and make sure that it all works, which is really cool. Yeah. So really, and I've been sort of blown away by people that have sort of been emailing me and going, oh, can you make this site work? Can you make this hardware work? And I've got this old synth I want to talk to, and this site now does this. So yeah, it's really fun. Yeah.
I've verified the MIDI monitor, which is always super handy as well to have. We built one into OP1 Field, but this is generic for any MIDI. So super handy to have these backups available on iOS for the EPs, for instance, and also the software updates. That's perfect. Thank you so much for making this happen.
No, pleasure. It's been great. And yeah, they say that the sample utility, it's not quite released yet, but I'm just doing some testing on it. I need to do some proper testing and make sure it's all working fine. But I think hopefully, fingers crossed, it's getting there. So yeah.
What's in the future for you?
So we've got some exciting things in the pipeline for doing things like musical typing and fun stuff like that. So yeah, we've got some more apps coming later in the year, hopefully.
Interesting. And if people want to get involved in the community, where did they go?
Yeah, so there's a midiwebhub.com.
Yeah.
And that's the directory. And then our company is 5of12.co.uk.
There we go.
That's us. Yeah, so we do all sorts of weird and wonderful things with spatial interaction and music and yeah, bits and bobs. So yeah, check us out.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on Midnight Operations and sharing these lovely tools. We wish you all the best.
Thanks for the great time. Have a good day. Cheers.
Boom. So, I mean, someone wrote inspired and inspiring. Thank you so much. I think it was you, Yellow. I'm totally inspired by this. I did check out the website and I found, what was it called? Midi Vision or something. And I loaded it on my iPad, and then I had my camera looking at my hands, and I could connect it to OP1 Field, and I was doing Jean-Michel Jarre synth playing with just using my hands. That was yeah, cool. Anyway, so some third-party tools. This last one not specifically for us, but super handy if you want to back up your stuff on the run or on the go. So thank you so much for sharing. This has been a fun episode. I'm looking at the website. You should definitely check out the animated film we did for the EP update, made by the team here and hand drawn by Vivi. So no AI involved, even though that could be cool, but this is a nice one. So Midnight Operations, let's do it like this. How are we? 23, episode 23. We had some guests, some internal guests and some external. Next up, next month, I guess, or after summer, we'll have more from Illa. I just connected again and looking forward to that. So thanks for tonight. Yeah, there's not much more to say. It's been a pleasure. Let me know what you think about this format, like recorded interviews and then some live chatting as well. You can connect with the community over Discord, and there's a specific Midnight Operations channel if you want to get involved. But we'll stick around for some chats in the YouTube here as well. Anyway, peace out, have a good one, and take care.